I couldn't do anything else in the world. It's truly fascinating. It's exhausting. It's hard. It's easy. It's got a lot of times where you're just standing around, and other times where you're so overwhelmed with details and minutia that you feel like you might lose your mind. But it's so rewarding. It's so incredible to be able to be a funeral director and to be able to take care of these people and have these people trust us and tell us secrets they don't tell anyone else. We find out all kinds of things just because of the nature of what we have to know in order to create the permits and in order to create the tribute.
What was the question?
Do you like your job?
No, I love my job. I mean, it's what I wanted to do since I was 4. It's something about caring for the dead, caring for helping bridge that gap between, helping someone get past a loss. We got an email one time about a lady that if it wasn't for us, she would have killed herself. Because of what we did for her and the death of her son. And, that's why you do what you do. I mean, hopefully, people out there will be able to follow their passion and be able to end up with a job to where it doesn't feel like they're working. A lot of people aren't in that position, but a lot of people strive to be there. And I've been lucky enough, personally, to have been that since I was 17 years old. So, how did I become a funeral director, or why did I want to be a mortician? When I was younger, when I was like 4, my grandpa's brother died, my great uncle, and I was amazed, supposedly, I don't know, I was told this, I was amazed at how well he looked or how real he looked. And so from that point forward, I wanted to go down to the funeral home and hang out. My mom and the local funeral director in our small town, my mom had the flower shop, he had the funeral home, and so we knew each other through that connection. And we were there all the time delivering flowers, and it was just seemed like a pretty neat thing to do. You could sit inside the air conditioning in a suit, drive a Cadillac, not have to work very hard. So, along with being able to help people, what you didn't realize is that guy had been working about 14 hours before he sat down on the couch with the air conditioning.
Amen.
So, it just kind of grew from there. I mean, that was when I was a kid, and all the way through high school, that's what I wanted to do. In your yearbook, whenever they ask you, most likely to succeed, most likely to be this or that, I was most likely to be a funeral director. You take the career aptitude test in high school, and the job that matched me the best was funeral director. So, I guess that's how the Lord wanted it, and here we are.
It was meant to be. You were meant to be a funeral director. How I became a funeral director, I was going to be a musician, as I often share with people, and found out that what God really meant was mortician, and didn't know or think that I had a natural aptitude to do this. Was working for a flower shop when I was a teenager, and amongst other jobs I had, and was delivering flowers to the different funeral homes. And the one that was about 2 doors down from the house I grew up in, I grew up next to a mortuary in Encinitas, the fellow who owned it at the time said, you'd make a really good funeral director. I don't know what we were talking about that day or what was going on or what he saw in me, but he made that comment, and I thought, this man's crazy. I'm not gothic, I'm not dark, I'm not depressed, and that's what I assumed funeral directors were. Or people who wanted to be them. Yes, I didn't have a funny, big look, or didn't have the lurch thing going. So then I was looking for a job in college in San Francisco while I was studying music, and I ended up going to a job interview, and it turned out to be at Colma Cemetery, which I didn't know until I got there. And it was for a sales position, and yada, 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 on and on. I kept ending up in situations where the funeral business was calling me, so to speak, or the universe was pushing me in that direction. And then finally in Michigan, I was doing in-home health care, taking care of the elderly, and I went to my first real old-fashioned Midwestern funerals. And it changed my mind completely, everything I'd ever thought about the funeral profession, about the death and dying part of the process, the how do you wrap up the death part, wrap that moment up, because there's all of the psychological leftovers after someone's passed away that you have to deal with. And I dealt with that, but in my family it had all been cremation with no service. And all of a sudden in Michigan, here I am, I'd never seen a body laid out before. Having the opportunity to see someone I loved in a casket and have that experience and know what that felt like. Getting to know Henry Malberg, the director in that town, who everyone knew, who you could meet him down at the main street and he'd have a beer with you or go golfing with you, and he was a normal guy. And then 3 days we'd spend at the funeral home telling stories and laughing and crying and eating. And I thought, if this is what it's really about, if it's really a party, I want to do that all the time for fun, for a living, for pain and for fun.
Maybe it's that we just like to talk and we can't find anybody to listen to us, so we just hang out here.
And that could be too.
We're really fun.
Yeah. Bowling is very important.
And these are the scores.
Have you seen The Big Lebowski? Well,
Start my forehead and you tell me to bring it tomorrow. It's right on my desk.
it's a very important film. You should see it. It's Coen Brothers film. It's shaped our lives in a lot of ways. And as a result of the Tao of The Big Lebowski, we bowl in the Southwest Valley Chamber of Commerce Summer Bowling League every year. I'm the secretary, Sean's the president. And the first year, '07, you can see they had different dot matrix printers back then. Now they have, laser printers. Back in 2007, we took first place. We swept. We were the champions. We had matching shirts back then and everything. The next year, we took last place. And that's where I got. My first place plaque hangs on my wall at home. My last place plaque is in the window right there. And then in '09 just kind of sucked. That was a tough year. We were in the middle. We took third, whatever. Third is nothing. What's second place is the first loser. Isn't that how it goes?
Is it?
And then last year we took second. We're on our way back. We're climbing back up the charts. This year we're poised to win again, so see how it goes.
What does a funeral director do? I think it's our job to help people understand the importance of life. Help people understand that as far as how important human life is to what we do, to every day. You know, everything is, everything revolves around life, and death is simply a part of life, and it's been that way as far back as you can go. So it's our job, not our job, but it's our charge, if you will, to help people to understand why somebody that's passed away is relevant, and they're still important, and their memories of course live on, but that moment in time that you have with the body, whether you cremate, whether you bury, whatever you do, that part is important and can't be lost.
And that sort of goes back to what I was talking about earlier about why we have funerals and why they're important, and just some of the different things we were touching on. Yes, a funeral director does provide for the transportation and the permits and the ability to physically be able to bury or cremate a human being, but on the way there's the celebration or the honoring of the fact that that person was alive, and that's critical to a healthy society. They say how what is that wonderful quote that we have about show me the manner
Something
in
from
which
Gladstone. It's basically paraphrasing. Show me the manner in which a society cares for its dead, and I'll show you how they care for their living.